The developers of Incredible Powers greet you in Area 1 Episode 2 of Rise of the Triad. Winding way, and not winding way just like I said into the previous update, so I'm sorry to whoever I've shocked about my... Who am I kidding? So anyway, the second level of the game is pretty similar to the first one in terms of gameplay because it's also pretty linear, there's close to no optional areas whatsoever, but at least you get a whole bunch of new items to play with, for instance the Mercury mode power-up, which allows you to fly. Again, this was something that you couldn't really do in Doom, you could only go down and down, and those enemies are also going to go down. There's no real point into the game where you absolutely need Mercury mode in order to go forward at any moment in the game, but it always makes it so that areas are more easy to get to and you can bypass ground traps far easier. And we have a barrel that has a grey Triad symbol on it, which acts as a bonus barrel, and it can spawn a whole bunch of random items that can range from either bazookas and... okay. And also, in order to be able to join this insane death cult that they've got going here, well, you need to be deaf. No one cares about you being a sharpshooter, being a smart man or anything. No, you must be deaf. And also, this is the first split missile that we get, although there was one into the first level, but I skipped it because the area of the level where you find it, well, it has a god mode in it, and since you cannot pick up weapons into god mode, that would have been kind of a waste of power-up. So, we get the first random power-up and, oh god, yeah, we got Shrooms mode out of this too. And Shroom mode is very bad, as you can see. You cannot, well, you know, shoot at enemies that are more than 2 feet away from you reliably. And also it makes all of the sound really weird and distorted with a shit ton of echo, and that's really cool. But sometimes the echo stays stuck, and that's definitely not as cool, but at least there's an easy way in order to fix this. You just go back to the menu screen and go back to your game. There we go, your sound is normal again. Although this glitch doesn't happen too often, fortunately, and I think it only happens whenever you get a Shroom mode out of a random power-up. So this is what a split missile looks like. It's pretty hard to use properly, as you will see right here, but yeah, sometimes it can be very useful, but since it's pretty hard to use properly, you won't always find a proper use for it. So yeah, this is why you shoot food like this, because this is how you heat up food around here. So here is dog mode. And this is what dog mode does for you. You might look like a weak, whimpering dog, but you can be sure that whenever you'll bark like that, everyone around you will explode into a gibbering of blood and gore. Sure, dog mode might not be as useful or powerful than god mode, say, but come on, how can you say anything bad about this poor little guy right here? He's so nice because he barks, he makes people explode, and finally you can eat people alive. All in all, the making of a good doggy. Okay, or maybe not, because I really don't want random dogs to just bark around and makes all of my organs explode. Or do I? You tell me. However, just as like in god mode, you cannot pick up any items or weapon whenever you're being a dog, and I want that bulletproof armor, so I'm gonna go here and wait. Also, just like with god mode, you also get a pretty funny sound effect whenever you just revert back to being normal. And here we have what is probably the second most useful missile weapon of the game, the firebomb, although we're not gonna use it here because we're just going to kill ourselves, and this is definitely not something you want to achieve into this game. But yeah, one of the reasons why I hate messing around with the secrets into this game is that most of them just don't give you anything. Out of a level that has something like 30 secrets or something, there's only like about a fifth of them that are legitimately useful, so there's another machine gun just in case you didn't find it earlier. And this is what a firebomb does for you. Carnage galore. All in all, it's a pretty straightforward level, but one of the final section of the level can be quite tricky, funny because... Okay, I'm surprised that I'm still alive here, considering that one of these guards had a bazooka. And contrary to what you might think, they don't really have any kind of regards for their own health, so if they can kill you in short range, even if they're just going to blow themselves away, well, they'll do it, because they're insane. This area also showcases one of the things that I don't like about this game though. Those walls right here, because enemies can see you and shoot you through these walls. You can also shoot them through them, but since they usually know about your presence way before you do, well, this is why they're annoying. Unless you play the game a whole lot and know exactly all about those spots, because it's not uncommon that you'll see this kind of things into the game, and this is also why the engine of this game can be sometimes frustrating, but yeah. I never said that this whole enterprise was going to be easy. And well, I'm just going to make things even harder for myself because this is also my first attempt at doing a crazy man run of the Dark War because, well, I managed to beat the shower episode on Crazy Man eons ago, but I only did a few playthroughs of hard in preparation of this LP, and Crazy Man is significantly harder because there's about twice the amount of enemies between the two difficulty levels. All enemies have more hit points. Lightning guards will usually have way more bazookas as well, so they're even more threatening and dangerous. And also the bosses have a whole lot more health too, so here comes the hardest part of the entire level right here. This huge courtyard area in which there's several windows from which the guards can shoot you through, and there's also a shit ton of enemies too. You need to have your firebomb lying around handy, and also it helps walk into this area with a bulletproof armor on, if you know what's good for your health. In preparation to this LP, I died so often into this room. Because either I just fall prey to a random lightning guard that has a bazooka, such as the one that just shot me into the face, or there's just a bunch of enemies that just spawn into the middle of nowhere and just catch me by surprise. So, while we're dealing with all of these enemies and proceed to almost die, because I'm pretty much going to die in something like 4 hits here, well, I'm gonna talk about the music, because, well, as much as about, 95% of the soundtrack was made by Lee Jackson, this is one of the rare songs into the game that hasn't been made by him. Instead, it was made by Bobby Prince. Yeah, the same Bobby Prince who did the soundtrack from Doom, Doom 2, and, well, Duke Nukem 3D. The song is called Excalibur, and this is something like one of the 2 full-level songs that he's made for the game, because most of the in-game music was made by Lee Jackson. Most of it is just fantastic, but this song is okay, I do like it, although it's just kinda low-key or something, but it just works pretty well with the setting, I'd say. Also, jump pads are not always your friend, as you've just noticed here. Either whenever you completely fumble your bazooka shot like this, because unlike your bullet weapons, usually your missile weapons are not aim automatically, so if you intend to go into the air or something like that, you do need to adjust your aim beforehand. And right now we're gonna go into another very important secret right here, and this is where you see that push walls can sometimes be pushed several times. It's round 2 for dog mode, which makes its second appearance, and yeah, you can do this as a dog too, go onto these walls, because you're too big as a human in order to go under these things, but hey, whenever you're a dog, you just fit perfectly fine. So yeah, you can go through small holes, you can dissect people by yelling at them. Well, this is the second greatest power-up ever. And it's fitting because, well, if you spell God backwards, you get dog. Just in case that you wanted another way to deal with enemies, you can just jump onto the head of enemies and squish them. Because, as I've shown previously into the first update, you can jump on people's head, and as long as you're on their head, you're gonna deal damage to them, and that does a lot of damage. Even the strongest enemy in the game will die really quickly to being stomped upon, and you can do this whether you're a dog or a human, but it's easier as a dog considering that you can jump on them by attacking, then finally using the use button. So that's the end of the level, and yeah, we even get an alternate soundtrack whenever you finish the level as a dog. And that basically just means that we've got all the kills and secret in the level, so congratulations, I guess. And yeah, also this song was also made by Bobby Prince, so yeah, even though almost all the soundtrack in this game was made by Lee Jackson, we pretty much heard none of his music into this update at all. So anyway, that's the end of this update, and I'm gonna leave you into this fine symphony of barking and whistling, and all of its full general MIDI glory. So that's it for this update. Stay tuned for episode 1 Area 3, Burn Enemies.